Sorry, this is your teacher, Dr. Kamran Kundi. I am from Pakistan and I always teach to you the statistics, the data analysis and research. So today I have two important terms for you. These important terms may confuse you. They are very easy, they are very simple, but sometimes they look like similar to each other, sometimes they look like synonyms to each other, but I hope I will make you understand. So from which country or from which city or from which location you are watching my video, please mention here in the comment section, so I may know that from which place you are connecting with me. If you have any question, please ask in the comment section. So today I have two important terms for you. One is standard deviation and one is standard error of the mean. Today I have two important terms for you. One is standard deviation and second one is standard error of the mean. Standard deviation is the property of descriptive statistics. Standard deviation is the property of descriptive statistics, while standard error of the mean is the property of descriptive statistics as well as inferential statistics. Standard deviation is the property of descriptive statistics, while standard error of the mean is the property of descriptive statistics as well as inferential statistics. So what is descriptive statistics? Descriptive statistic is a simple statistics in which you study mean, median, mode, standard deviation, and variance. Descriptive statistics is a simple statistic in which you study mean, median, mode, standard deviation, and variance. While inferential statistic is the complex and advanced statistics in which you study different tests such as comparison tests, such as relationship tests, such as regression test. The comparison test is of two types: two-group comparison and more than two-group comparison. Comparison test is of two types: two-group comparison and more than two-group comparison. The two-group comparison is called t-test, while the more than two-group comparison is called ANOVA. The relationship test is a test in which you correlate independent variable with dependent variable. The relationship test is a test in which you correlate the independent variable with dependent variable. And the most famous and the most simple correlation test is Pearson correlation. The most simple and famous test that we always use is Pearson correlation test. The prediction test is a test in which you predict dependent variable based on independent variable. Prediction test is a test in which you predict dependent variable based on independent variable. Prediction test is a regression test. Prediction test is a regression test, and regression is of two types. One is simple linear regression and the other is multiple linear regression. Regression is of two types. One is simple linear regression and the other one is multiple linear regression. In simple linear regression, we have one independent variable and one dependent variable. In simple linear regression, we have one independent variable and one dependent variable. But the multiple linear regression is you have one dependent variable, but the independent variable can be 2 or 3 or 4. Multiple linear regression is a regression in which you have one dependent variable, but the dependent variable can be 2 or 3 or 4. So after defining all these background knowledge, now let's come to the two definitions that we have. One is standard deviation and one is standard error of the mean. Standard deviation means that if you have a set of data or if you have a set of scores of students and you have average score, if you have a scores of students and you have average score, and then you see how the individual scores of students are clustered around this average score. You have scores of students and you have average score. Now how the students' scores are clustered around this average score, this is called standard deviation. As simple as it is. You have scores of school students and you have average score of school student. Now how the individual scores of school students are clustered around the mean on right side and on left side, this phenomena is called standard deviation. So please let me know from which place you are watching my video. Please show in the comment section. I'm waiting for your comments. Please write in the comment section. Please write in the comment section from which city or from which location you are watching this video. I'm waiting for your comments. Please write in comment section from which place, from which location, from which city, from which district you are watching this video. So we have the first term, which is standard deviation, and we have the second term, which is standard error of the mean. What is standard deviation? Standard deviation can be defined as simple as it is. For example, you have scores of the school students and you have their average score as well. Now you want to see how the individual scores around the average score are clustered on left and right side. How the individual scores of students are clustered around the average score on left hand side and on right hand side. This dispersion of the scores around the mean, this variation of the scores around the mean, these scattered scores around the mean is called standard deviation. The second definition is standard error of the mean. For the standard error of the mean, you have the population and you have population mean. For standard error of the mean, you have the population and then you have population mean. So you take one sample from population, then you take second sample from the population, then you take third sample from the population. So you took 3 samples from one population. You have population and you have population mean. You took sample 1 from the population, then you took sample 2 from the population, then you took sample 3 from the population. Now you have 3 samples and 1 population. Now you have sample 1 and its mean score. Then you have sample 2 and its mean score. Then you have sample 3 and its mean score. So now you have to compare the sample means with population mean. You have to compare the sample means with population mean. And you will see how the sample means are vary from population mean. How the sample means can be compared with the population mean. How the sample means is different from the population mean. If this phenomena is called standard error of the mean. Thank you so much. From which location or from which city or from which district you are watching my video, please show me in the comment section. Again, we have standard error of the mean. I will define it. For the standard error of the mean, you will take a population and population mean. Then you will draw sample 1 from population, then you will draw sample 2 from population, then you will draw sample 3 from population. So now you have population and its mean, and you have 3 samples, and each sample has a mean score. Then you will compare how the mean scores of samples is different from the mean population. How the mean scores of samples are different from the mean score of population. This phenomena, to compare the mean scores of samples with population mean, this phenomena is called standard error of the mean.